there is an experience in the body and mind. Maybe a pain. A pain is here. Okay. Now, is it a direct experience or is it indirect experience? So, any experience through our sense organs about the object of the world is indirect experience. Mind and object are screening the experience. If I see the world, my eyes will limit the what I see. My sense organs are limiting the experience what I am having. And who is having the experience? The Sakshi, the witness, the conscious principle is having. The Jivatma is having the experience. Jivatma, conscious entity, through the body-mind complex, is having the experience. The conscious entity, Jivatma, cannot have experience if there's no body, mind, or intellect. There's no instrument, there's no experience possible. That's our state in deep sleep. Right? For any experience, instrument is required. Are we clear? So now, any experience is interpreted by buddhi, interpreted by buddhi, and understood by the consciousness. Understanding happens in consciousness. Interpretation happens in the buddhi. So, sense organs screen the reality. The mind gives a name to the reality. The intellect takes a interpretation, understands, interprets. That's how it is. So now our experience of life for the self-sakshi is not direct but indirect through sense organs and body and the mind. Are we clear? So now let us close our eyes. If we close our eyes, what will happen? The sense inputs are stopped. There are no more sense inputs. Okay? If I am seeing a world outside, there's an objective world and subject called me, which is body and mind. But if I close my eyes, the object called world disappears. The physical world, what you see through sense organs, disappears. Are we clear? Now, is there a world or not now?
Yeah.
The world is there in the mind as recording of name and form. Recording as a name and form. And raga, dvesha, vasana and samskara, the world remains as the impression in the mind. Correct? So this impression in the mind is mithya. It's not real. It's not in the present moment. Is it clear? The present moment experience gets superimposed the impression by the mind. Mind is about past and future. Are we clear? So now, how is our experience of life if there is no interference by the mind? Is that possible? How is the experience of life without the interference by the mind? Means name and form is not interfering. Then what will happen? There's only experience, but there's no naming of the experience. The naming of the experience limits the experience of present moment experience to past or future. In any experience, the subject and object duality is not there. Subject and object become one in experience. So the subject, object, and experience is not there. Only experience is there in any experience. Correct? In any experience, there's no tree. The tree comes because in mind, now experience is not there. The experience is cut and the mind gives a name. So the example of this is a child. Child looks at something. The child has no concept of I am the subject and object. That's the experience only. The naming is not there. So naming cuts the experience into three. The subject, object, and experience. But reality is, in the experience itself, there is no only experience, but there's no subject and object. Is the distinction clear? The mind comes later and gives the subject and object some name. The mind coming up later is called mithya. Your naming, nama and rupa, is getting superimposed on your experience. But experience itself is appearing and disappearing. Where is appearing and disappearing? In consciousness, experience is appearing and disappearing. Consciousness itself is appearing as an experience, like water. Water itself is rising as a wave and going back. Clear? Water rises as a wave and goes back. Consciousness itself appears as an experience and disappears. But now, when the mind comes, it forgets the consciousness and gives a name. Oh, me called body, the object called apple is experience. The taste is good. The naming is cutting this experience of consciousness into multiple pieces. There's no experience other than consciousness. Consciousness is experiencing itself in the form of object and subject. Are we clear? But the illusion of separatity is created within mind. Is the distinction clear? In experience, there's only consciousness. There's no tripudi, no threefold division. But in the naming, there's a threefold division. Mind. Is the distinction clear? In any experience, there's no duality at all. But in naming, the duality is there. Experience is always a consciousness changing, consciousness appearing. Okay, for example, sound. Consciousness appears as sound, it goes back. Consciousness appears as a sight, it goes back. Okay. So if you are not bringing the naming, you are non-judgmental, you are not reacting to raga and dvesha, you are just witnessing. Is there a duality? Like a child, if you are able to observe the world, is there a duality? A child has no naming process, right? If you are able to observe the world as a child, through the eyes of a child, is there a concept of duality in you? Is it there? It's not there. There's no naming. Are you clear? Naming only brings the illusion of duality. That's why nama rupa is mithya, maya. Remove the nama rupa, Jagat is Brahman only. Remove the naming process, Jagat is Brahman only. Other than Brahman, nothing is there. The nama rupa, naming superimposition is creating the illusion. Remove the naming process, then Brahman only is there. Wave only, water only is appearing, is wave and disappear. There's only water all the time. When wave appears, also water. Wave, water only is there. The naming process is called mithya. Where is the name? Nama and rupa is recorded in the mind. That is getting superimposed on the present moment reality, which is Brahman. Are we clear? So now, the present moment reality, we can observe in different ways. For example, if a scientist takes a microscope and observes the world will look like atoms and molecules. Okay, atoms and molecules. Solid world disappears. Atoms and molecules remains. Now, for scientists, what is the reality? Atoms and molecules is the reality or world is the reality? How? Atoms and molecules are the reality. World is not real for him because he has seen the truth by using a microscope. Correct? To see the truth, you have to use an instrument which can see the truth. After that, instrument is not required. He understood atoms and molecules. Then even if he sees the world, he knows it's atoms and molecules. What he did, he changed the instrument of seeing. If see the world through a red glasses, the world will appear red. If you see the world through blue glasses, the world will appear blue. So now the correction has to happen in the instrument. A plain glasses is required to see the world, to understand what the world is. Similarly, in our instruments called body and mind, what instrument has to be corrected? The correction has to happen in some instrument. Because mana eva karanam manishanam bandhamokshayo. To experience the world, mind is the instrument. Our sense organs are limited. I cannot correct it. Our manas, mind, is full of raga and dvesha. I like this, I don't like this. I like this, I don't like this. You have to overcome that. It's called raga dvesha. Because the moment you like something or don't like something, immediately naming process triggers. Or naming process triggers raga and dvesha. Both. A child has no naming process, no raga dvesha. Raga dvesha starts coming into your life as you grow up. Of course, child may have some minimum raga dvesha based on previous samskar. But, oh, I like masala dosa. I don't like sada dosa. Raga dvesha is already there. From sense organs, immediately goes to the mind, raga dvesha is triggered. Naming is triggered. Or name triggers raga dvesha. Both ways possible. Correct? Suppose you are not biased by naming raga and dvesha or nama rupa. You are able to observe the reality as it is. Then what is the reality? The reality is, what you call as reality is constantly changing. So the naming is freezing the reality. What is constantly changing is like energy waves. A naming is taking photo of that and calling it as something. So energy waves is called energy form. The photograph of it is called thought form. What is mithya is thought form, not energy form. So energy form is called Shakti, and consciousness is appearing as energy. Consciousness and energy are not different. That's why it's called Shiva and Shakti. One reality dancing all the time. Energy is fluid, constantly changing shapes. Thought is a snapshot of an event, and we call it as, we give a thought form. For example, I met my friend. Your friend already has changed the body, changed the mind, changed the intellect. Nothing of the friend is remaining. It's already energy patterns changed. But still we have a photograph of the person, a event, and say we call it as a friend. Every moment, everything is changing in the universe. But our mind, sense organs, the mind are not able to recognize the change. We use a frozen pictures to call something as an object. Objectification happens by the mind. Nama Rupa gets superimposed. That's called objectification of the energy pattern. Energy pattern is called energy forms. And objectivism is called thought forms. Thought forms are superimposed on energy form. Thought forms is Nama and Rupa. Form is given by sense organs, name is given by the mind. Both get recorded. Okay. So now, are you able to observe the energy pattern without going through, without judging? If without bringing Raga, Dvesha and Nama Rupa, just observe. Then what you understand, energy is constantly changing. There's no naming of that. And what is changing? The consciousness itself is appearing as energy. The consciousness and energy are not different. Shiva and Shakti are one. Consciousness is called Shiva and energy is called Shakti. So there's no subject object relation there. The subject and object are one in the dance of Shiva and Shakti. So that experience we can have at our Brahmarandra. Energy and consciousness, they vibrate and dance. Now only problem is intellect will come and interfere. Oh, there's a vibration. That's happening in my head. Oh, that's happening as a sensation in the head. The intellect is the instrument, is bringing Nama and Rupa, my head, my sensation. It is happening impersonally in the universe. So that dance of Shiva and Shakti, you're observing. The entire universe is in a very subtle form. In the gross form, it's universe. In the subtle form, it's a vibration. You are looking at the universe in the vibration and consciousness form. Where is consciousness here? The observer of the vibration is consciousness. Observer and observed cannot be separated because there is no subject and object. Only one reality is changing shape, form, constantly. Shiva and Shakti are one. And that time you have to understand Shivoham, I am Shiva. Hold the thought, I am Shiva. Why I hold out the thought, I am Shiva? Because your mind will be bringing up impression. Oh, this is the body, this is the mind. There is an impression happening. It's in my head, it's happening. So name and form are appearing. I am Shiva. I am the consciousness. And the energy is moving. The consciousness cannot be seen. The seer is consciousness. Seen is Shakti. At that point, Shakti and Shiva cannot be separated out. It's one reality. And where is Jiva? Jiva is no longer there because Jiva is one who claims that I am the body. The body is not there. Now it's only it come to one point called Brahmaranda where Shiva and Shakti are one. So if you hold on to that I am Shiva, Shivoham, then what will happen? The mind interference will start coming down. Mind is interfering, saying, giving the names and forms to that reality. So now in the present moment reality, there's no subject-object duality. Any present moment experience, there's no subject-object duality. The subject-object duality comes because of the naming. So in a child, there's no duality. All experiences are unitary experiences. It's called unitary experiences. In a Gnani, all experiences are called unitary experiences. So now I have pain in my hand. So here my hand is name and form. There is pain is impersonal experience, direct experience. So the pain is there, is a change. If you observe closely, the pain is an energy pattern, changing energy pattern. So observer and observed are one in that experience. So what you do in Vipassana is observe the body constantly, closing your eyes. Then what happens? You are actually ignoring, you are not, the raga, dvesha comes, some thoughts come, you are ignoring them. Gradually, thoughts will go down. So everything you understand is nothing but a bundle of sensations, bundle of vibrations, which is actually appearing is like a body, solid body. There's nothing but solidity to the body. That's what Buddha meant. Anatma, body is anatma. Then he said anicca, everything in the body is changing constantly. Vedanta says everything is changing. Kshanika. The observer Sakshi alone is unreal. The Sakshi and Saksham or whatever observed is Mithya. There is a Sakshi alone is there, which is Satya. So that way, just by observing the sensations and vibrations in your Sahasrara, you can hold on to thought called I am Brahman, Shivoham, then all other thoughts will subside. Conscious mind and subconscious mind become one reality. Understand you are not observing your head. There's no your head. It's an appearance in the universe. You are looking at an object called head. In reality, the subject and object, vibration and consciousness cannot be separated out. It's one reality. So then understand, with your eyes open, you understand entire universe is nothing but energy pattern. That's called Brahma Bhava. Shiva and Shakti are one. Any questions? Are you clear? Any questions for people on Zoom? Shravan? Kaumari? Everybody has become silent.
Hari Om, Prabhuji. No question. The Prakriya is very clear about hold.
Me. Okay. The personalization is not real in the universe. Your body is made up of 5 elements, which is not different from your body is nothing but made up of mud, which is not different from earth. But our mind says, oh, this is different from earth. Okay, I'll tell you a very simple way. A tree is standing human being. A human being is a walking tree. In nature, is that much only. From God's point of view, a tree is standing human being. A human being is a walking tree. From existence point of view, all are nothing but moving, energy patterns moving. But human point of view, oh, I am the tree, I am the human being, that's a tree. The naming. Am I making it clear?
That's very nice, Prabhuji. I mean, if human being is a walking tree, it is just that all the naming and additions that we are making to
Yeah.
the consciousness, that is making all the difference.
See, from the consciousness point of view, God point of view, all are appears in consciousness. Some objects move, some objects don't move. So tree is standing human being, a human being is walking tree. But from human being point of view, oh, that is tree and I am this, like that. Naming. Nama Rupa. Okay, can we stop this question? See, when we do spiritual practices, we are doing so, okay, I'm observing my breath, I'm observing my head. Please understand, there's nothing called mind. Your head is not your head. Your breath is not your breath. It's a part of happening in the universal consciousness, Ishvara. It is a universal happening. It's an impersonal happening. The personalization you have to stop. This is just happening. So then personalize the impersonal happening in the universe. If you stop, there's no question of my head and your head. There's an energy pattern which is changing. The energy pattern is one with the consciousness. And I am that consciousness. Shivoham. That understanding will be there. The moment you personalize anything which is happening in the universe as yourself, then you'll go to get into emotional disturbances. So that's why emotional disturbance has to be overcome by devotion. Devotion means everything belongs to God, Ishvara. Nothing is mine. My head is not my head. It's a functioning in the God. My thoughts are not my thoughts. Naham karta, harireva karta. This is the meaning of surrender. Personalization of impersonal happening in the universe is becoming individual, jiva. Surrendering means understanding everything is universal, impersonal. There's nothing called I, me, and mine. It's called devotion. Nothing is mine. Everything belongs to God, Ishwar. Okay. Stop it. Shall we close for the day?